Hi, today I will be showing you how to create a ReWASD configuration to emulate gamepad and have aim assist, and JoyToKey jitter and strafing, and some other macros like shield swap and open the loot box. Right. And you can find the full configuration on the link below in the description if you want to test it or to speed things up if you want to modify it. You will need the full version of ReWASD and also the trial version. It's fine for JoyToKey. The configuration file will have a different layer for different purposes. One, for example, for loading, one for the Radial menus, right? One back to MnK layer, right, for native behavior, and then one also for shooting and ADS sense. This tutorial will be better followed by somebody that has at least watched the videos of ReWASD, the beginner ones on their YouTube, because there might be things I might not explain fully. I also might go over things too fast. So it's my first tutorial, right? So I was thinking about not making it that long. I think it will be about 40 minutes long. But I can also do a series, right, with different chapters explaining in detail each part, each layer, right, and going slowly for the complete beginner. I will also include CFGs for Tapstrafing and for Supergliding. I use 2800 dpi on my mouse because that with a medium sensitivity on ReWASD, it gives me a lot of aim assist and a high response when moving on my hipfire layer, and a bit different one on the ADS layer. I will start with a fresh installation of ReWASD with like no profile, so we can start from the beginning creating a group for the mouse and keyboard. I will be also creating a Discord server that you can join. I will be posting any updates, discussing any new keybind questions, how to modify different keybinds, and I also will be creating a script, or finishing a script that I'm doing for GHUB to recoil control. You can also suggest a feature or a template, and I might be able to work on it, right, and release it. You can also share your own configurations with the community. Right, so first then we can go into group our devices. First that will be my keyboard, and then the G203 mouse, right, and then I save the group, I close it, then I will see them grouped together. I can create a new game profile, place ЛPEX VLRINT. Then we go into show the mappings and descriptions, and then we create a new layer for native behavior. That will be our full MnK layer, and we need to remove the mapping for the ESC key because sometimes it doesn't work when you're full of MnK. Here is it, so I just go and tap on the X to remove it. Great. Now I need to be able to go into the main layer and out of it to the MnK, so I will set up that jump to layer, native, and toggle, and just mute. Change that name to controller. And that one to MnK layer. Now on the mouse, we can set it up for our left stick. We're going to change a bit of the sensitivity to have it in the middle. Nothing's for noise filter, and 2 for smoothing. And just expand the sun shade. I will also try aggressive, right, because I want a bit of fast movement to be able to do quickly 180, 90, and I will also mute it. Then I also change the sensitivity and the initial speed, and that one I forgot to do it for the left stick. I only did it for the right stick, right? You can also do it and set the performance too high. I forgot that. And then I'm going to set up my WASD keys to the right stick. I'm not going to mute those 4 keys as I need a bit of lurch when tap strafing or bunny hopping. So it also inputs a WA or S or D just once. And then I go apply it to slot 1, and it will activate the layer. I go to MnK to go to Apex. Now we need to set up a few settings here. I'm going to place the important ones on the right, like for example auto sprint on and double thrust sprint off. Mouse sensitivity here, ADS to 1, and then all the important binds are going to be on the right side. And I also use the mouse wheel up or down for tapstrating and bunny hopping with CFGs. So I will unbind it from here. I use left shift for recoil control and control for the Superglide macro, right? So that's why I don't have them binded on here. I don't have a lot of bindings, I removed it. And I also binded the emotes to the comma button. Now here I change the interact in the sprint because I use the X for the strafes with JoyToKey. Here we have the stick light of Southpaw, W and reload. The crouch, it's important, it's on toggle. And then for the sensitivity we have 4, and just from 4x and above we'll use 3. You can always change that. I will talk about that later. Now for the test, we can move, we can look. There's a bit of aim assist when you look at the dummies, right? Now I am going to add all of the important bindings like tactical, ultimate, how to heal, shoot, ADS, right? All the important ones will be then on the right side as well. Make sure of mute each binding. Unless specified, they're always going to be muted. Now for the ultimate, I will add both bumpers and select hold until release. I use Y on my mouse button so I can swap weapons without lifting a finger for movement, and also for a holster before a slide jump. Then I set my fire and ADS buttons, also muted. I swap it before the sprint and interact buttons so I can have sprint on X, because I hold it on middle mouse button for lurch strafes. So we are done and it's time for a test. If the sensitivity feels too slow, we will change it later. Right? Just test the rest of the keys.
Sending out another me. Damn it, he's good looking. Dudes to the rescue. How about this way? Target's right in front of me. Shotgun ammo here. Evade here. Looting here. Link back up here.
Now for the right choice. Follow the tunnel. I set the portal.
Now the fun part comes. We're going to start doing our radial menus for heal, grenades, emotes, and the ping wheel. I'm just naming the first 3 buttons I'm gonna work on: 4 for heals, G for grenades, and the period for the emotes. Well, it's a comma. So I'm going to copy my control layer and paste it on the next one, and then just rename it to radial menus. What I do is add a shift mode on hold to the radial menu, delay it by 200 milliseconds, and then just redo the mapping to up for heals. Make sure to show mappings in descriptions and expand activators so you can always see all the info, what's for. What's going to change in the radial menus is that I'm going to lower the sensitivity and change it to that mode, right? So it doesn't shake a lot. Now, instead of firing it, I'm going to change it to use or equip, which is going to be A. And then on the other click, I will use it to request items, pretty much the ping button. I then do the changes for the other buttons that will activate radial menus, and that needs to be done on the control layer. Here I did it on the radial menus. And I also do it on F for ping. When I hold it, it will pull up the ping wheel, so it's useful. There we go, we just fixed this. And now for the test of our radial menus.
I need shields. I need help. Patching myself up. Need to recharge my shields. Let's explore this way. Hostile close. Hostile. Maybe loot here. Avoid there. Frag out.
A few more things for our radial menu layer. On the ping wheel, the right mouse button is going to ping it, so I will use C to go back to the controller layer. Also, if you use the item with the right mouse button, then I will submit the press of the key to go back to the controller layer.
Recharging my shields.
Now it is time for our looting layer. We go here and create a new layer. I copy my controller and I paste it and rename it. To begin with, I want space to not input A because it's going to do a different action every time, so I want it to be jump, right? Just the mouse and keyboard jump, so it's going to be assigned nothing. Then my left mouse button is going to be A, so I can grab stuff, and the right one is going to be X, so I can drop stuff from my inventory. Now to go into the layer, we can use Tab for the inventory. So we just go Shift mode as a toggle. But I need to do it on the controller, right? So inventory, jump to menus, toggle, and the same menu button. Now this one might not really be needed, but I just like to have it. B will close the box or the inventory, so I will use it to go back to the controller layer. I think that will be it for now. Now we can go and test it. This binding will be used to open a loot box. Pretty much it's a double tap of left shift. I hold shift for recoil control, so double tap it's not going to affect anything else, not the recoil control either. So I then do a custom and I postpone the jump for 700 milliseconds, and then I do a combo, in which I will hold E for 700 milliseconds as well. Pretty much I will hold it to open the box, and then I will go to the other layer, right? Will not mute it because I use it for the recoil control. Just making sure. We'll shift to open the box, scroll up or down to scroll the list, left click to grab stuff or hold it. I can move side to side. For some reason it's not jumping, it's just crouching but not jumping. I can move side to side but not jumping, so I'm just going to do a little trick here. That's strange. I'm just going to add space to space. Might work if I just delete it, not sure. But then I'm going to implement a fix here on the radial menus. I have removed the X from the middle mouse button. Also, I will remove it from the looting layer because I don't want to be strafing. And I also remove the right stick from WASD because moving up or down, W or A, was scrolling the list up and down. I can move back now. I use my mouse button, the forward one, X2, that has hold to crouch on here, right? The spacebar to jump, I can move side to side. I can also move forward, but it launches me forward, so I don't really use it, right? I can do circles to prevent that, but if I'm not careful, I will go up and go out from the box. Now is the time for a harbor swap macro. The idea is to hold to open the box, move the cursor down to the charge rifle, here an example, and then grab it with A, close the box with B, and then continue shooting as normal. For this, I'm going to add a keybind on Alt, mute it, and do a combo, which is holding the left stick to open the box for 700 milliseconds. And then I move the left stick. There you go, on relative deflection, -65. And then I do that for 155 milliseconds. Let's test that. You can hit yet to eliminate the deflection. You see, it goes down to the charge rifle just with one click. Now what I'm going to do is to add A to grab it and B to close it, like I said, and then we can test. Longbow is the same row as the charge rifle.
That was the last of that squad.
If you get stuck on the looting layer, you will be able to move, but you will not be able to ADS, and shooting will make you jump. So you can just hit B and you're good. Now it's the time for super gliding and tap strafing. I do not have any binding on the scroll wheel up or scroll wheel down for this. For this I will use ΛPEX CFGs. I will have my binds, in which wheel up is going to be binded to forward and jump for tap strafing and bunny hopping. Mouse wheel down is going to be jump. You can do it one or twice. I just tried twice, but I think I didn't make any difference. And also for super jump, right? And then control is going to be jump and is going to exec Superglide 2 for preparation of the super gliding. I had the new strafe, I'm not using anymore. Control is going to make me jump and is going to exec the next one, right? And then when I hit the mouse wheel down, this will make me jump. That's the first input of Superglide. It will set my FPS to 30, right, to make it easier, and it's going to exec the 3. And the 3, when on the very next mouse wheel down, is going to make me duck, right? To finish the Superglide, is going to set my FPS back to max. You're gonna change it here, and then it's going to exec my binds again, so it can be back to whatever binding you have for the mouse wheel down, right, if you have a different one. You will also need to add these to ΛPEX launch options. Sorry, so my beans is launched at the beginning. You will have to restart the game for it to work. Then hit Control to climb up the wall and then scroll at the right time. That's it. Now I can tap strafe after a Superglide, right, to change the direction. I can slide and then just go mouse wheel up and tap strafe without needing to jump, right? Because it will jump at the same time. And then I can also hold A or D and do 180. You don't have to hit jump. It will do it when you do the mouse wheel. Now for a super jump, hit E and then scroll down. I can also tap strafe into a wall with mouse wheel up and then use mouse wheel down to jump and then tap strafe out of it. Right? I can also go and do a super jump and then move 180 with a tap strafe and then another super jump to do a combo, right? I just failed. I can also wall jump and then tap strafe back into a wall to avoid the climbing animation. Can be better, but you get the idea. And now for B-hopping, I can just hold A or D and scroll up. I can also hold the mouse button for hold crouch, so I can bunny hop. Here I will start doing a anti-recoil macro. It just has a bit of pull down, so I will add the right trigger, hold until release, and then the left stick, that will be the pull down, to -25. Just a bit of reduction, not much. With recoil smoothing it's a bit easier. Now for JoyToKey, I have two different profiles. Those are going to give me strafing and also jitter aiming when shooting. The first one, ΛPEX VLRILNT, is going to go to the joystick 3 whenever I hold ADS. It's going to highlight. And under the joystick 3, every time we hold ADS, on the button 12, which is shooting, every time that you hold the ADS and then you shoot, is going to do a sequence of buttons from the 20 to the 27, and that is going to jitter the mouse. On the second setting, the N2, which I have renamed to SX, is going to apply that jitter when holding shift. That shift is going to be our left click. I'm going to place it on the single press. That shouldn't affect the loot box. This will allow me to activate the jitter only when hitting shift while hip firing or ADSing, where I can turn it on and off just by holding. Here I'm turning it on and off during the clip. It doesn't feel like I'm losing aim assist. And now for our strafing. Both configurations are going to go to the joystick number 2 when I hold the button 3, which is X, or my middle mouse button, and that is going to input a WSD 30 times per second. I think that should be enough. And also the button 3 will be inputting a space 30 times per second. Here I keep holding middle mouse button and just change the directions. An issue with having recoil control on shift is that if you hold shift, it's going to hold the left click and it might have unwanted actions, like opening the door. When holding ADS and shift, you will open and close the door. You can use it, or shoot without shift. Now it's the time for the sensitivity part. First, I need to do a fix on my controller layer on the mouse section, the left stick. I modified the right stick for movement, but not the left stick for view, for mouse view. As for the deflection, you can remove it completely. I just made a quick test with a little bit, but initial speed and acceleration could be full. Here on Apex, I use a menu cursor speed of around 85%, and my sensitivity it's both for normal and ADS. I use a classic response curve, supposedly helps aim assist to stick more, but linear is also fine. I have tried both, and the one that I like the most is classic. No dead zone, small movement dead zone, and so on. Right. On per optic settings, I have 4 on the first 3, and then I have 3 on the rest of them, and it works fine. An extra thing you can do, it will be to create a shift layer to have a different sensitivity response when you are ADSing. In this case, I do that. I copy, I create a new layer, I paste, rename, and then we're going to change some of the settings on the mouse. On the controller layer, I have a aggressive curve because I want fast movements for pretty much for movement, right? Now, in order to go into the layer, then on my right mouse button, I will do a shift mode and hold to the corresponding layer. And here I will copy my no-recoil combo, my no-recoil script, and I'm going to lower the values when hip firing to -10, and I will keep the original values on the ADS layer. Okay, so every time I hold my right mouse button, it's going to go into that layer, and here on that I change a bit the sensitivity and the curve to smooth or to default. Those work fine then for smooth aiming when ADSing. Those two should work better for aiming without sudden jumps in sensitivity while ADSing. Now I also want to remove some shortcuts to different layers when ADSing. For example, I don't want to loot a box or to do a shield swap macro if I'm ADSing. Just to prevent that, I remove the mapping here. Make sure it's still on the controller layer. It is, no problem. I will also remove the double tap on shift because I don't want to open a box or to go into looting layer. I will not be able to go from looting back to ADS. It will send me back to controller and may be an issue if it's not the correct layer afterward. I also remove the change of layer to the keys that will open a radial menu, like 4 for heals, G for grenades, F for ping, right? I just want the input to open the menu but not to change the layer. Now we can test the no recoil script for hip fire. One issue I found when using JoyToKey for strafing is that when you're looting, when you're on the inventory and you hit X to drop items, it's going to do the strafe. You see, it's all fucked up, so we can fix it. It is continuously sending jump inputs, so that's what we can change. Here I will go to my JoyToKey setting, and on the button 3 on the joystick 2, which is the joystick that enables the strafing, I'm going to open the button, remove the space, clear it, and also remove the auto repeat. Now we can test it, see if it's better. It is better, but now I can jump and I don't really strafe. Now to better do that auto jump, I'm going to do it on ReWASD. Here I have nothing. On here, on the hold, I have X for the strafe on, but I don't have auto jump, so I can do that on the press of the key. On that, I can set up a turbo for auto jump. Right, so on the press of the key, I select A, And I go do a turbo for 30 milliseconds. I can drop stuff just fine from my inventory, and I can strafe also without jump. Now I'm gonna also do that on the ADS layer, so I can also strafe when ADSing. And I also remove it from the first JoyToKey configuration. I have final changes to our sensitivity. On the JoyToKey profile, I have lowered the amount of jitter so I don't lose too much aim assist. It removes some recoil, but not all. Here I'm doing it without pulling it down. Here I control the recoil a bit. No pulling down. A bit of recoil control. I have changed the sensitivity on my optics here a bit higher than before on the 4, 6, 8 and 10. The 2 I have it on 5, I lowered it to 4. On the ADS mouse sensitivity now I'm using per optic. This is going to affect the jitter and is going to give me less jitter, less recoil control, but more aim assist, and it will be easier to track targets. That sucked. Let me try again. Something like that. I'm pulling it down a bit. Let me try with other weapons now. Now we're R99 without pulling down. Now pulling down and recoil control. I think it's too fast. Let me get it down at 2-4. You will definitely need to spend time on the firing range testing each part of the settings, the hip fire, the ADS, each per optic, and the per optic ADS on the mouse, since that's going to affect the jitter of JoyToKey. You need to find a balance between jitter and tracking, still aim assist, right? So that can take a bit, but it's definitely worth it.